The San Lazaro Pueblo is 30 miles from here. It takes me 40 minutes to get there. 6 miles down a little dirt road through 3 locked gates. But it's a magic place. At one time, 12 to 1,500 people lived there. I don't know when I bought that ruin out there, but 1984, 85. And then in all of these years, we've dug about 50 rooms. Of 5,000 rooms, we've dug 1%. So just think of the stories that remain out there 6 inches below where you're walking. Every year for the last 14 years, we've had teenagers from Wyoming. Some of them are really good kids, some of them are pretty good kids, and some of them are not too good kids. We've had parole officers' permission to bring some of them down here. We're trying to turn them around. We have a problem in this country with our youth, and that's where our future is. And yet, archaeologists particularly, everybody loves archaeology. Archaeologists are not doing nearly enough with their outreach programs to help us turn around the kids that are drive-by shooting, graffiti on the wall, teenage pregnancies. I could go on and on and on. They're on the headlines in every newspaper, but nobody's doing anything about it. History is something that I've been a part of and studied, and I can read, and I remember a lot about history because it's something that doesn't just pass through my mind. It grabs a hold on the way through, and I can remember those things. I wrote a book titled The Secrets of San Lazaro Pueblo, and in that book I said that in my opinion, after about 1600, the Spanish were living in the same buildings, perhaps even the same rooms with the Anasazi Indians. They were historic at that time. The Spanish were living with the Indians because there is so much Spanish material out there. Until Coronado came in here in 1540, there was no metal out there at all. But after that time, it just a profusion of hundreds and hundreds, thousands of pieces of metal. Needles, awls, horseshoes, stracolites, a lot of nails, jangles, a lot of religious materials. And I think that the Spanish came in here looking for gold, but I think they brought more gold with them than they found when they got here. All of these are Spanish things that I found at San Lazaro Pueblo, but the interesting thing are these 5 keys. They go to wooden chests. Now, if I can find 5 keys out there, why can't I find a wooden chest? I think that, and I talked about this in my book, at the revolt in 1680, there were a lot of Spanish people at San Lazaro and around San Lazaro. But they were told that if they didn't get out of town, they were going to be killed. So these Europeans are horrible bureaucrats, Spanish particularly. They kept notes, diaries, ledgers, and they wanted to know keep track of how many sheep they had and goats and what the grizzly bears were doing down in the cornfields. And so when Pedro learned that he was going to get killed if he didn't head down the river to what is now El Paso and into Mexico, so he took his chest and he found an empty room someplace that was falling in. He took his chest and he stuck it in there under some timbers, some vigas, some latillas, and tucked it in there nice and put some rocks around it and foliage and limbs so nobody could see it. And he went down the river trying to escape the inevitable that was going to come tomorrow or the next day. And he may have been, his idea was to I'll come back later and retrieve my treasures. So here we are in 2012, digging out there. I have 5 keys, and I come to this room where Pedro hid his treasure chest, and there's his wooden chest. It's full of ledgers, it's full of diaries, it has some trinkets in there, personal effects, and his diaries and his ledgers are going to tell me the names of the people who lived out there in 1560, 70, 80, 1600. How many sheep they had, how many goats, what was their relationship with the Indians, and diaries of everyday life out there. We're going to rewrite the history of the Southwest. If we can find one of these wooden chests that has what I know is in them, ledgers and diaries and so forth. It's going to be wonderful when we do that.